Well, it's that time, folks. It's that time. And you know what we're going to do today, folks? We're going to start the day out with talking about the 19-time mukbang dumpster diver herself, the one and only Foodie Kenobi. You know why? Because she went live this morning like 9 o'clock in the morning to get views, and she titled the video right here. Look at this. Boom. Cops callers and cops 911. She trying to make a dramatic start to the day, get that views in, get that money in, whatever story she making up here. So I was paying attention. I was like, this is a serious thing. You know, people showing up there. The police is coming. It's early in the morning. They wasting their resources to get over there to see Foodie Kenobi. But then I said, I've been watching her for a lot of years, and if there's one thing she does is not tell the truth. And you know how she is. She makes stories up. So she said that the police came there. They knocked on the door, like two people. They were like, knock, knock. And she went to the door and they were like, hey, Chantel, you know, we heard you a big YouTuber and all this nonsense. And, you know, we came here because people sent us here and all this stuff, right? So I was like, wow, that's a serious thing. That could have happened. You know, people, I've seen that happen on YouTube before. But you know how we is here. We pay attention. We do detectiveness and we listen carefully to what's going on. Everybody in the comments, you do that, I do that, and everybody else do that. So you know what I did? I got my bowl of Cheerios and I sat down and I said, I'm going to pay attention to this because maybe this is serious. This is a big deal I should be paying attention to, right? And then I watched carefully, and Chantel went on to say, how can I say, that the police came and they told her she had to go live. Yes, folks, the police told her she had to go on YouTube and make a live stream and tell everybody to not call the police. And she said this twice. So for all the people that didn't watch, I did a little detectiveness so that you can listen and pay attention right here. Listen what she said right here. Boom.
So I'm sitting here, you know, chilling out. Luckily, I was dressed and everything. So I get a knock at my door. It's the police. So I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I go to the door, let them right in. And they're like, hey, Chantal, we hear you're a big YouTuber and we got a 911 call, so we had to investigate it. So I explained what happened, and they were like, so you need to go live. What I would like you to do is go live.
Yes, folks, you heard it right there from the one and only Foodie Kenobi. The police told 100%, 0% to go live and tell the audience to not call the police. This is a bad thing. But you know how it is. I said that Chantel lies a lie. So you know what I did? I dug through that whole video. I watched that whole hour and I knew she would slip up, folks. And that's how we roll over here. So I found during the same live stream that she lied about the police. Can you imagine coming live to get attention and making up a story and changing it in the same hour? You said something in the beginning. You try to state it as a fact. This is what happened, right? She said the police told her to go live, but then at the end she lied and got caught out there and said, no, 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 no. They didn't tell me to go live. They just told me to tell people, right? So let's listen to what she said later in the live stream. That's a complete contradiction to what she said in the beginning. Here we go. Boom.
They didn't say for me to go live. They just said you should let people know. And that's it.
Yes, folks, you heard it right there. A total opposite that she said in the beginning. This is wild. I don't even know what to say. And at this point, I don't even believe the police was there. This is what I think is my opinion, folks. I think she had a blood test that the person was coming to do her blood. They were going to draw her blood this morning, right? At her apartment. And she had to be up early. And she said that the person was coming between, say, 9 and 11 o'clock, right? But how can she get an audience to run to the video and start watching the live stream at 9 o'clock in the morning? So she came live and she made up a whole title there that the cops was called, 911 and all this stuff, because everybody, if I did that and I put a video, you would probably come and watch it too. You'd be like, oh my goodness, what happened over there? Let me see. And if you know Chantel, she don't want to sit around and be quiet. So she had to find some way to get some attention, right? And she stayed on for an hour. So that made it closer for the person to come so she didn't have to sit there idle and quiet and wait, and she could talk to her community. So this is wild to come on. I really hope that, you know, that she's not completely lying and making up these stories. But if you go back to her track record and her history, the one thing she does is not tell the truth. She lies a lot of times and makes up stories just to get attention. She will even come on a live stream and say that I made up this title. I needed people to come on here. And you know how it is in YouTube. You can't just lie and blatantly, how can I say, clickbait something that didn't happen. And she always does that. She needs to get them people in there to get views, right? And you know what happens when you do that? People just leave. They don't want to be tricked. They don't want to be hustled or whatever it is like that. That's now how it is. But Chantel's done this a bunch of time. I've been watching a few other videos right there, and she'll come on and say like, I have something serious to talk about. After the last video, something went down, right? So everyone runs to that video, and they're trying to find out it, how can it coexist for the last video, like it flows into it, and we're trying to get the next chapter of this. And then when she comes on and everybody's asking, Chantel Foodie One Kenobi, what happened? She's like, no, 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 I just used them words. I was going to talk about something else, but not the yesterday topic, right? That's not what you do to your audience. That's disrespectful. And if there's one thing she does is disrespect her audience. It's been going on for years, going back to the Cuba bees and everything, and trashing everybody and saying disgusting things all the time and calling people out and cursing and all this type of stuff. She does it all the time. And the sad part of it, she is rewarded. She getting financial income to be, how can I say, mean to people and awful. And that's not how it is. And now that we done with all that nonsense, we're gonna move on to another thing that went on, because she did a whole, how can I say, 12-hour live show. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, a 12-hour live stream, a half of a day, right? She went out and she did this live stream yesterday, and the stuff she said in the live stream and she was doing there is just out of control. So let me tell you what was going on. You probably missed it. You didn't pay attention, because 12 hours of somebody's life to be watching the entire thing is a lot to be on there, right? It's an obligation. It's a long thing. So yesterday she was, how can I say, taking the train to go to some event, right? That they have cars and all this type of stuff. So she's sitting in the subway on the scooter, right? And she waiting for the, how can I say, the metro to the train, the subway station to come and pick her up. So the subway actually comes and it speeds up, right? And it starts to slow down and it stops, right? And everybody that's standing on the platform, right, is ready to go inside of the, how can I say, the train to go where they got to go. And Chantel was upset. She was angry, folks. She started speeding and, how can I say, like almost beeping the horn at people and almost hitting them. She was like, why is this guy in front of me? The guy was already there. There was multiple people, right, standing in a line right there to get inside the door. But Foodie wanted priority. She wanted to be the VIP. She wanted the people to all get out. All the people that was lined up inside of there to get in the train, they should move out of her way and she should go in first. She did not want to wait her turn. That is out of control. She almost hit people. Think about it. If you were standing in that subway station and she run you over, run your foot over, something like that, break your toe because she need to get in there, that's how she was treated. She was at no point being a nice person to say, we could all slowly get in one by one. Nobody was pushing, nobody's grabbing, trying to get in. No one was trying to, how can I say, cause a commotion to get inside. The doors open, everybody went in, but she wanted to be first. But that's how she is, folks. She don't care about nobody but herself, right? She is the priority the whole time. Everybody else can miss the train as long as she gets on it, and she got to do what she got to do. That's a little bit rude. You got to have some respect for the other people around you, because all them people have their own lives. They got their own problems. They got to get where they got to go, and you don't know why they're taking the subway, right? We know that you was going to play some games over here in some event right there and just ride around and cause drama, right? You wasn't going to some medical appointment where you had to be there on time. Your event was not moving. It was a stable place. It was going to stay there. All the cars in the event was going to be there. But she don't care, right? As long as I get there first. So she finally arrives at this event and she's scooting around. She driving around. She doing her thing. She looking around. And then she starts the drama. She's like, oh my goodness, there's people at this event that know me. They taking pictures of me. They over here in the event. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? And there's like dual streaming going on? So I had to start paying attention. There happened to be another person that's from YouTube. They was live streaming, but they was at the event before Chantel was even there. And if you know anything about Foodie One Kenobi, she gonna blow things out of proportion. She gonna say whatever she gotta say. So somebody was at an event that Chantel was at. They wasn't rolling up on her. They didn't try to push her off the cart. They didn't try to do none of that. They was at the event. They were doing whatever they was doing. Chantel was driving around. They didn't even speak, right? But you know how Foodie One Kenobi is. She got to make something big, right? She got to make an argument, a whole conflict, right? So she dragged this on for the whole time there, all the way back home. And she was saying what she would do to somebody if they came near her and all this nonsense. And I was like, she need to just chill out. It's not that important. I want to give you examples. Say you was at a carnival or a fair or something, right? You go to the county fair. You over there, you doing rides and attraction. You got cotton candy. You doing whatever you doing right there. And you filming live for YouTube right on your channel, and there just happens to be other people that is at the same carnival and at the same fair as you because they live there, right? You're gonna come on live stream and say these people following me around when they was there before you, hours before you. This doesn't even make sense. But you know, Foodie Wan Kenobi got to bring that drama so we could watch it, we could talk about it, make videos, get the audience all how can I say enthused about it, and just keep going on and on and on. That's how it is, and Foodie Wan Kenobi understands this. But there is one thing that Chantel does not understand, folks, and I'm going to clarify it once again for everybody that does not understand, and this is to clarify it for Chantel. Chantel, you cannot come on Kick and make up wild stories and go out of control and do what you want and say what you want as long as you're still working for YouTube. It is not like that. It is against the rules. I want to clarify it carefully that you can lose your channel for what you're doing, right? Whatever you're doing on Kick, you are also responsible for on YouTube. It doesn't matter that they're two different platforms. It's another social media outlet that you're posting videos on that YouTube can see, and they can say, we do not want a person like you over here doing that type of stuff. So I did my detectiveness once again. It's a rerun from the past time, and I'm going to show a post here so Foodie Wan Kenobi could understand the rules. And I think you working here long enough, you should understand and read the community guidelines, all the terms of service, and understand the policies. But if you don't want to do that, I'm going to do it for you. So here we go. We're going to start with the first post right here. Look at this. Boom. Please take these rules seriously. If a YouTube creator's on and or off platform behavior harms our users, community, employees, or ecosystem, we may respond based on a number of factors, including, but not limited to, the egregiousness of their actions and whether a pattern of harmful behaviors exists. Our response will range from suspending a creator's privileges to an account termination. Now, that was clarified right there, black and white, right on the guidelines and the community post right there, policy and guidelines. But they do say it a second time if you missed it right here. Look at this one. Boom. Protect the YouTube community. As a YouTube creator, you should remain responsible both on and off platform. If we see the creator on and off platform behavior harms our users, community, employees, and ecosystems, we may take actions to protect the community. You can see right there, it's clarified right there in black and white. There's nothing you can change about it, Chantel. You could think what you want, you can say what you want, you could do what you want. And you know what it ends with? Account termination, suspension, or permanent, how can I say, demonetization. Do what you want, Foodie Wan Kenobi. You want to follow the rules, you want to think you know what you're doing, but it's not like that. Rules are rules. You sign at the dotted line, and if you, how can I say, fail, boom, you got to go. That's how it is. But she was even saying what she was going to do to that lady that was at the fair with her. She said she was going to do some actions towards her, and she even did it during the live stream. She came home and she started doing these, how can I say, martial law kicks in the air, and she was going to do this or that to the person. What nonsense. Nobody nobody believes you're going to do anything, Foodie Wan Kenobi. You can say whatever you want, but nobody believes you. That's the best part. So you know what it is, folks? I got the little clip because you have to see this, and I've got a comparison. It's going to be funny. Let me do it right here. We got Foodie Wan Kenobi saying what she's going to do to somebody right here. Look at this. Boom.
Okay, want to see me kick?
Yes, folks, we should be intimidated. I got to take this serious. We got to be intimidated. Foodie, please don't do this to me. I will be in fear, right? I'm hiding under my snuggie right now, under my bed, right there. I'm just forget it, I'm hiding. But you know what I did, folks? This is a mess. She's making up all this stuff she's going to do to somebody. But I had to go and find somebody that's a competitor to her to see who's better. So I did some detectiveness, and I found the perfect matchup. It's like Cobra Kai versus Daniel LaRusso, folks. And I found two competitors that's going to compete. We got Foodie Wan Kenobi. We seen the kick right here. Look at it again. Boom. Yes, you see it right there. That's the perfect kick. This is going to be the perfect matchup. There is no one that can compete. But you know what I did? I went and dug through videos, hours, and I found the perfect competitor. And that competitor is former baby girl Amberlyn Reed. She was even studying martial arts from, how can I say, Daniel LaRusso herself. So look right here. Boom.
I'm just wearing...
You saw right there? She did that kick. It was almost like the one at the end, the crane kick. She did a perfect thing. She wasn't holding on to nothing. She had the leg way up in the air. If I was a judge, she would get a 10.0 on there. And I think Foodie Wan Kenobi would get at least like a 5.0 because she was holding on the countertop. Well, that's the end of the video, folks. And I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Later.